Ranch. Hello again, and welcome to another episode of the Fun Fans Podcast. I'm your host, James Dillard. With me, as always, my co-host, Bailey Jackson. How you doing, Bailey?
I'm doing great, James. Long time no see.
Yeah, it's been at least less than
Less than
about
24
12 hours or
hours.
so. Yeah. So have you had your chicken bacon ranch today? Chicken bacon.
No, I don't have any of that today.
We'll bring that up later. So we got a great show. As you can see, our man Jay Do is with us today. Tigers have a winning record. The Colorado Buffaloes are still a hot topic in college football, and there were some upsets yesterday to point out, and the tailgating was awesome as always. But first, the Fun Fans are a proud part of the Fanboys Fangirls Sports Podcasting Network. If you're a true sports fan, the Fanboys Fangirls is perfect for you. Find various nationwide podcasts and other sports media at thefanboys.com and on all forms of social media. The Fun Fans Podcast is the official podcast for Clemson fans.
And we also had some great chicken tenders from Ruben's Food, Sports, Spirits, and Catering and everything else around, with 2 locations in the upstate, 1083 Batesville Road in Greer, 11028 Anderson Road in Piedmont. You can find them at rubensc.com. Rubens is simply a great place to eat for all sports fans, especially Tiger fans.
So here we go. Okay, so the name of the show is Can't Get Right. And the reason this show is, and this is me. I named the show, and I'm talking about me, because I put on social media a couple of days ago that we're going to have country music singer Lee Newton. Okay. We had her scheduled before. She had to postpone. It was before the Orange and White Gala. But anyway, got her set up. And in my mind, this was her Sunday. And I have an Excel spreadsheet with who the guests are going to be. Just FYI, I am organized, but apparently I can't get right. So I emailed Lee and I'm like, hey, we good to go this Sunday again? Yeah, we're good. And I posted stuff all over social media. And then I'm like, wait a minute. She's rescheduled for the 24th. So I screwed that up. And then if anybody remembers, we already have another guest. The ladies from United Row have had to postpone to the 24th. But right, and so I'm trying to put Lee when we already had J-Do scheduled. And now I've postponed both people to the same Sunday, next Sunday. So I just can't get right. But you know what? We're just here to have a good time.
That's
we definitely
right.
have a J-Do with us. And while we will work something out, we might have a little double. We might have a recorded interview. We can post some extra content next Sunday if both of those or that entire group of ladies can make it on here with us. But today we definitely want to welcome back our friend J-Do. He's an entrepreneur, MC from upstate South Carolina, right here in the Greenville area. And we had him on when we were audio only. So those of you that have been listening, we started this show just barely over a year ago, but it was audio only until about January. So we're trying to bring back some of our top guests from last fall, where we were. Oh yeah, you're a top guest, J-Do. So we'll just to kind of catch
top
up
of the heap.
Yeah, catch up and catch up with J-Do and the Fun Fans and see what's going on. So J-Do, thanks for being with us. How are you today?
What's up, guys? I'm happy to be back. Thank you for having me. Top guest. I've been trying to tell you guys out there, all you fun fans, but
Yeah,
I'm glad to be back. Thanks for having me.
Hey, no
So
problem.
you were the mic guy at Clemson for years, and you told us some really cool stuff about that last fall. But are you doing anything like that now? What's J-Do up to these days?
I'm up to about 160, feeling good, still saying slim and trim, fellas. But
that would be awesome.
right?
Yeah.
But so you got to go easy on the tailgates. If you eat too much of that, like Southern chicken, little Bojangles, little Chick-fil-A, little sweet tea, that'll fatten you up, fellas. So anyway, yesterday, yesterday I missed the game completely. Had to watch all the highlights and recap because I was speaking, and I was in Dallas, Texas, just one day, all day yesterday. So I'm still traveling and emceeing. I have a financial education business as well, help people understand what's going on in the world of what's called infinite banking. So 4 kids, man, busy as ever. So I appreciate you guys having me back, even though, my love for Clemson has not changed, but my affiliation has got me doing some other things these days.
Right.
So no additional kids since a year from now?
Paternity tests and results are not out yet so far. No more kids.
No more. All right, very good. So, all right, well, like I say, we just wanted to catch up, and you kind of touched on it a little bit, but how can the fans get in touch with J-Do if they want to book an MC for their event?
Yes, now you'll have to catch me in between everything out there. Used to be a staple, of course, for 12, 13 seasons straight at Clemson men's basketball, women's basketball. So you knew where to find me then. If you want to find me now for maybe a gala fundraiser or some other event for your school or some other community group, you can find me at It's JDew, ITSJDEW, on your favorite social platforms, or it's jdew@gmail.com. And look forward to being with you guys at the next event.
Yeah, that sounds. It's JD. You're still doing the One Voice show, Black History show?
Yeah, so I have a Black History one-man show, and this year is the 60th anniversary of the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. So Dr. King, just last month, August of 63, brought that great dream to America on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial back in 1963. So yeah, there's several things going on right now that are kind of highlighting that great event in coming together and pushing the agenda forward for equality and justice. So I'm doing things around that, moving toward the Black History season, as we might say, in quote, around January, MLK's birthday, and the February Black History Month holiday. So yeah, things are gearing up, ramping up, schools and churches and other civic groups for that type of event. And crazy enough, of course, our president at the time of that great march and speech, he was assassinated November of that same year, 63. So there are some things that are connected to my show that are new this year surrounding the events that happened, the infamous tragedy of what happened in Dallas in 1963. So one of my newest vignettes in my show, vignettes are the pieces from local Black history characters. So the folks that we may not know on a national stage, but he was actually the pallbearer, the man in charge of funerals at Washington's Arlington National Cemetery at the time. So he's now a part of the show. I met this man. He's still living. He's in his mid-80s. He's a South Carolina boy. And now he spends his time speaking and doing some preservation things in his home area of Sumter and Columbia. But yeah, he was actually, of all things, the head pallbearer of John F. Kennedy at the time in 1963. So yeah, I'm doing some things around some interesting pieces of history and Black history and American history right now.
Right. That's wild. So, and look forward to it. I'm pretty sure you're already booked to do that at my school. If you're not, man. I think we already got a date though, right?
Shout out to all my Blazers out there. Yeah. Greer Middle College in the upstate. And I'll see you guys February 9th, I believe, is what we got penciled in. The reason I know it off the top of my head is because that will be my 40th birthday.
Oh, wow. We'll look forward to it. We'll have
James, you'll have to get a cake.
Yeah, so I was going to say it's a good excuse to have a cake. J-Dew's cake. All right. I hope you like
You guys are trying to fatten me up again. Look at Billy. He's got his drink out there, the big gulp. James is talking about cake. This is how I stay slim. No cake. No cake.
Yeah, no cake.
I thought it was chasing kids around. But anyway.
That too. All right. Well, that's awesome. Everybody look up at It's JDew or email itsjdew@gmail.com. Reach out and get in touch with him. Trust me, the One Voice show is worth a listen, and it's worth whatever little bit he charges. And we look forward to having him again at my school. I look forward to the new pieces. That's pretty cool to know that some new pieces are coming. So, and JDew, appreciate you being on the show. You're welcome at the tailgate anytime.
All right. Love you guys. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Have a good one. All right. JD's just a fun guy. He's great to have around without a doubt. And maybe he can drop by the tailgate soon. But speaking of Clemson, we are 2-1, B. We have a winning record.
That's right. It's okay. It's going to be okay.
That's what we've always said. So
we looked more like Clemson yesterday.
Yes, we did.
We started out flying around on defense, pick six, and the offense just kind of jumped in with them. And did you know, James, that Clemson has won 108 of the last 109 games when they held their opponents to under 23 points.
I did not know that.
Well, they're
Very
also
interesting statistic.
61-2 at Memorial Stadium since 2014. So we'll talk about the Seminoles Wednesday night,
Yes.
but the odds are forever in our favor.
In our favor. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. We definitely seem to have gotten our jitters out. They played like we would expect them to play. Still a little bit of place kicking, touches that need to be.
We do not rank highly in special teams, but neither does Florida State.
Well, I'm gonna say just a place. Hopefully, we're doing okay. I mean, my man kicks the hound out of the ball on the kickoff.
He can he's kicked 70-yarders in pregame.
It's something about getting it actually over those protective linemen, but whatever. Maybe it's a mental thing. He just needs to close his eyes and go to his happy place.
82,000 people in there makes a difference too.
Happy place, yeah, for sure. So speaking of, we talked about this slow starts and whatnot for Clemson this year. No slow start Saturday, but it was brought up on College Football Final as something that's kind of happening across the country. And I've mentioned before, there may be a little more parity, and maybe just this season it may have to do with NIL and transfer portal. It may not even be a thing.
Everything to do with that.
Well, and so what Clemson fans and what we've kind of struggled with as fans with the team struggling, quote unquote, it is not just Clemson, and it might just be the new look of college football. So it happens. And like Bailey said, we'll be back Wednesday night to preview. I'm good Wednesday. No volleyball Wednesday. You good Wednesday?
The graphic they put up at the stadium last night that said Clemson currently has 42 players on NFL rosters. Okay,
that's
that
impressive.
means they all played at Clemson in the last between 6-15 and now. Okay, so no wonder Clemson was really good. Okay, that's almost a whole NFL team.
Hey, we're good. We're good. Yeah. We're gonna be good. It don't matter.
All good.
We can play with anybody. And once again, we'll get into the Florida State thing later. But there's no team out there that's gonna roll up in Death Valley now, traveling, whatever. But there's no team's gonna roll up in Death Valley and just roll over our current football team. We're gonna be.
It's okay.
We're a pretty good team. Speaking of other pretty good teams, the Colorado Prime Timers played Colorado State. And I have a question before we talk for 1 second about this game. Colorado State was 0-1. It's week 3. There was a week 0, and they've played one game. Mm-hmm. How does that happen?
I don't know. Maybe that's how they set their schedule up.
Did they have a bye the second week of the season or something? That's crazy. Anyway, so I watched. I didn't watch all of it. It ended at 2:30 a.m. Bailey, were you awake watching that game? Yeah, me either. So, but I watched, went back and watched the key plays or whatever. Seemed to be a lot of turnovers and a lot of big plays. It was a very exciting game, obviously. Went into double overtime, but there were the big plays, like big good plays and big bad plays with the turnovers. And, the
biggest play was when the two-way player for Colorado got hurt.
That's bad.
He plays like 140 snaps a game, offense and defense. So he's going to be out a couple of weeks, I read online today.
Yep. So not going to have him at Oregon. So I think the Ducks are already favored, maybe a little bit due to that injury by the mid-20s is what I've heard. So,
really?
But that team definitely has a lot of energy. And speaking of energy.
Well, primetime's on 60 Minutes tonight, by the way.
Is it a rerun from before?
No,
or is it
I don't know. They've been advertising it all day on one of the TVs I have on CBS watching football. Doesn't have any sound, so I don't know what they were saying.
He's been on there before when he was with Jackson State. And
it's Colorado. It's a story on Colorado.
Right, very good. It'll be the one on Jackson State a year ago was really, really good.
Yeah,
it was full of energy. And speaking of energy, W Sports Drink, we got a link and stuff. You can scan this QR code and enter promo code FUNFANS for 10% off. when you get your W at w.gg, and we will put that stuff, the links and whatnot out there.
All natural energy.
Your all natural energy. So we mentioned last Wednesday there were no matchups of top 25 teams, and we kind of wondered where the upsets would be. Well, there were two. The first one we'll kind of chat for a second about or just point out and move on, is the Florida Gators over the formerly number 11 Tennessee Volunteers. My opinion, that's a very huge win for Florida, obviously, and a good win for Coach Napier. Bailey?
Paul Feinbaum said that was a must-win. For former Clemson assistant Billy Napier.
Yeah. Well, he must win it, and he must won it. So they look pretty good in that one. Also, Missouri upset number 15 Kansas State. So those were the two upsets. Some other notable games and where people kind of pretty much took care of business based on being top 25. Our friends in Columbia, the Gamecocks, I mean, they made a good showing, and you and I talked before that, nobody really likes, moral victories, but they were winning at halftime, ended up losing to the number one team in the country by 10 points. So they made a good showing down there. So to say Georgia took care of business, maybe they did, maybe they didn't. They definitely got the W. But it goes back to the parity, and it also speaks to, South Carolina's they're a pretty good, legit football team, like we've said all season.
Right. And can I just say, I know our next little piece here is about the top 25. And you've got North Carolina and Duke, both 3-0, both ranked. I didn't look at the most recent rankings. I did earlier, but I can't remember. Are they like right around number 20 and 21?
And they've ticked up. So, yeah, the new ones, they've ticked up to like 17, 18, 16 maybe.
So, the rankings, we know they don't matter, but how is Clemson was ranked in the top 10 preseason? They lose one game to a top 20 team, and they can't get back in the top 25, and Alabama lays an egg against Texas last week, and then struggled with South Florida, a team that won one football game all of last year, and they're still ranked 12th. It just goes back to guaranteed.
Yeah, the SEC bias. Yeah, for sure. But the thing, and like I say, we can't put too much weight in the polls, especially right now.
It's still early.
But as Bailey was pointing out, with UNC and Duke 3-0, that could help Clemson, obviously, with a loss against Duke. We'd love for Duke to win out. We'd love to have a rematch against them in the ACC championship game, maybe, for example. And we would love for North Carolina to be a top 10 team and then beat them in Clemson. So those type things can help us as we go down the road. And you know what? If there's no playoffs again this year, they're going to do a 12-team playoff next year, and it's going to be a whole different ballgame. But top two teams playing the ACC championship. And so you don't have to be number one. You just got to be number one or two. All right.
Well, let me the latest bowl projections on ESPN. One of their experts has Duke playing Ohio State in a New Year's Day bowl. Okay, so and Clemson playing in the Mayo Bowl, or the Pop-Tarts Bowl in Orlando. Okay.
Yeah, is it? And you never know, but there's a lot of season to go. The
Pop-Tarts Bowl is going to quickly move up as one of the tastiest bowls. That's a new one. We have to do that again. They renamed them.
Really?
Yeah, more sponsorship. All right, let's move on.
We'll definitely do that again. So yeah, Bama. You brought up Bama, and they talked about controversy. So here I'm gonna ask another question. The guy that was starting for them, his name is Jalen, right? Jalen something. And did he get hurt or something?
No, they're not. Alabama's not Alabama.
Well, okay, that's fine. Okay, so I'll just repeat because I don't mind. I thought the kid looked like a young Cam Newton. I don't know why they're not. He's just got to get better, and just like Cade, get some reps and keep playing. That kid's got all kind of potential. So anyway, that was interesting. But I'll stick with my Cam Newton comparison. And then finally, the last matchup we'll talk about from this past Saturday, and we talked about people taking care of business. Florida State beat BC, but did they take care of business up there in Boston?
They won.
Technically, yes.
And, on this show before, we say all you need to do is just keep winning. And that's what they did. So give them credit for that. But they, the ESPN, and we'll talk more about this Wednesday, but the ESPN metrics say that Clemson and Florida State are pretty dead even.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
Current spread at 2.5 points. Yep. So either way, we're looking forward to hosting them Saturday. And like I said, we will talk about this Wednesday. So moving on to our good fan, bad fan experience of the week. So I need some intro music, but I don't have any. I'll work on that later. But I got a good fan, bad fan.
It was awesome.
Yeah. All right. Number one, a night game in Death Valley. What? Let me get a picture.
It was pretty electric.
I mean, if you're doing audio only, you can't see this picture, but when it's nighttime in Death Valley, and listen, it was a great fan experience. I had a lot of, well, not a lot, but it seemed to be, the middle of 3 home games in a row. Some people that come every game were kind of like, I'm going to take this one off. It's people our age, just 8 o'clock and da-da-da. Well, they must have sold their tickets. The stadium was full. It was full. So that was definitely a good thing. All right. So bad thing. I got a short video clip of a bad thing. So that, my friends, is the Prisma Health helicopter. So last week we showed a video where the visiting team always goes past the Fun Fans tailgate. The Prisma helicopter does not always fly in.
Something bad must have happened.
Something bad was happening, and it was not good for somebody.
And we should say that we hope that whoever had something bad happen to them, they're okay. I mean, obviously that would be the quickest way to get to them at the stadium at that particular time of day.
All right. So here's a good thing. All right, low budget. Give me 1 second. The next good thing.
Move forward. Move forward. Jalen, move forward.
That's the new dance. The funniest thing about that is that you hear Bailey hollering, Jalen, Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, she was looking everywhere. She was looking around for him. Nah, we're good. Yeah, that kid was having a blast. I mean, his number one goal was to get put on the Jumbotron, and guess what? He got put on the Jumbotron.
He did it. And it was a dance that you said you could do that dance, Bailey.
I can do that one.
We can do it. All right. So that's good. All right, bad. Our porta-john experiences. I will tell mine. Okay, so real quick. Okay, so porta-john, that hand sanitizer in the porta-john. We talked about this last year when we used to have a porta-john segment every week. That's a great thing to have hand sanitizer in the porta-john. However, the way they hooked it to the little chimney, the smell chimney that they have in the back corner, the circular smell chimney, they've taken the hand sanitizer and they've zip tied it to the smell chimney, and it has slid all the way down to the
smell.
Yeah. So to get any of the hand sanitizer, you had to lean over the toilet. And so I'm like, we just assumed we were.
We have some at the car.
And use some at the car. So that was not a good fun fan experience.
I will not no comment on porta-john experiences yesterday. Thank you.
Okay. All right, on to the next good fan experience. This is great. YouTube TVs play top plays of a recorded game feature. So if I don't know, I didn't do this, but I don't know, YouTube, they know your brain, they read your brain, they read your mind. All the football games get recorded on my YouTube. Maybe I did it, I don't know. But if you go to click it, so I went in that Colorado State game. You have the option to watch top plays. So I watched 49 top plays. That's about 2/3 probably of the plays during the game, but it's all the big plays, the touchdowns, the turnovers, and this kind of stuff. And it goes through, and it's like watching a little recap. It took like 12 minutes to watch a recap.
Yeah,
of the game.
that's when I miss an O's game. If I don't have time or if it's late at night, you can click on watch condensed game, and they literally
Yeah.
just show you all the outs or all the hits or all that. It's none of the other stuff.
That is a good
It's 7 minutes.
fan experience.
Mhm.
Definitely good stuff. Bad fan experience. Katie on IR.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
not good.
Katie J is on injured reserve. She's dealing with some injuries, so we'll figure that out and get her back out there on the field.
All right, we're gonna do that, and then we'll end on a good fan experience. Mark Wahlberg was in the house this weekend, all over social media, all over his social media. He's at all these different restaurants and places, and the weight room, and everything at the game,
Walker course, and wherever.
Yeah, so it was just super cool to have Mark Wahlberg in the house.
Because his